name is Toby Summerfield. I'm a guitar player and bass player in Chicago. One of the projects I do is called Never Enough Hope. It's a very large group. It seems to be getting bigger every time I do it. But originally there were 16 people, and then there were 20, and then there were 22, and we did it in California, and there were like 25 or 26, depending on the night. And I have to conduct. When I originally thought of it, I was just going to play and everybody would understand what to do somehow instinctively. But no, I have to conduct, which is a whole nother, yet another thing I don't really know how to do that I try to do. Rehearsals are hurried and harried generally. In that band in particular, there's a lot of people from out of town. So the last time we did it in Chicago, it was about half and half. So there were 10 people that flew here and 10 people in town. And we had one day to rehearse. So we had a rehearsal booked for like noon to 5 the day of our first gig. It got a little funny because we were rehearsing at the venue, which is in a building with other businesses that operate during the day. And we had thought that it was all cool. Both the guy who ran the space and I had talked about it, and he had talked with the building manager, and it was supposed to be cool for us to play from 12 to 5. The minute the bass saxophone came out and started warming up, the building manager came in and said, "You absolutely cannot do this." So the show is in 8 hours, and there are 20 people who just spent an hour and a half setting their gear up. Everybody's ready to play, can't play there. So of course I freak out. And then someone says, "Well, we can all just sing our parts. That would be quiet." Yet another thing I can't do that I'm asking these people then to do. Can you just sing your parts to these crazy songs? And they did, and it was really pretty. And then we ended up having like a dress rehearsal later on, and that worked all right. The next time I do it, the plan is to have longer rehearsal. Like I went and did it in California, and I had booked 3 rehearsals. There were 2 evening rehearsals and 1 all-day rehearsal. The first evening rehearsal, 3 people out of 20 came to. That's cool. I can't pay anybody, so I couldn't like demand their time. But it's sort of a bummer. And then I did it again the next night, and a good amount of people came, but not enough to make me feel like everybody was going to be on the same page starting the next day. So the next day, with this long rehearsal at the venue again, just sort of like rehearsal and sound check, and everybody learned their stuff. And I always get a little freaked out, like we rehearse and I feel like I didn't do a good job of explaining stuff. And so the hours between the end of our rehearsal and the beginning of the show, I get more and more freaked out, and I'm sure everything's going to fall apart. And then once we're playing the first song, I remember that I asked all the best people in the world to play the stuff, and they're going to do everything right, even if I explain it badly. Like in that band, the best gear is in their heads, I think.